Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am the microphone messiah, Phillip Antoine. I am here with the guy that is still the Bulletcast podcast champion, Mr. No Days Off, the real Mr. No Days Off, the Canadian Destroyer, BT Brandon Tanguma. Brandon, we are coming off of an electric Elimination Chamber. This might be the best Elimination Chamber pay-per-view of all time.
Quite possibly, definitely one of the most electric atmospheres, not only for the Elimination Chamber, but a WWE show in general. I'm not the biggest fan of the named shows, so I don't have a great recollection of all the different Elimination Chambers because normally they have been placed here before the I was going to say penultimate, but technically that'd be WrestleMania. But anyways, the show before WrestleMania, but this was a exciting show. Montreal. Not going to say anything negative about them. I guess they were okay. They were a little boisterous,
There
I
were
guess.
Yesterday, crowds were just on fire. Montreal, we were in the building for San Jose, Battle in the Valley. That recap's coming out on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. So go check that out. I hear GCW down in LA. I hear they were electric. So there was something in the air yesterday. Is February 18th a special day? Do we not know?
Possibly. You never know when you're making history, when you're in it. So maybe,
Well,
maybe.
never know. All right. Um, any tidbits you notice or anything before we get into the actual card?
No, just a great show, great fans. Montreal, not a show or not a place we go. The WWE goes to a lot, so they kind of got the WrestleMania, the wraparound pay per view treatment because I believe they're still in Montreal on Monday for Raw, so that is going
They're
to
in
be an interesting show as well.
they're still in Canada, but they're in a different part. I
Okay,
forget.
well, those Canadians are still loud.
Yes, yes,
Sometimes
yes,
annoying, but they are loud.
yes. They are. A couple things I noticed. We saw the little Twitter exchange between Tony Khan and Ariel Helwani. Michael Cole, when Ariel Helwani was on the screen with George St. Pierre, he said he's an unbiased journalist and he asked all the great hard questions. A little dig at TK popped for that. There was a Vince McMahon reference during the Elimination Chamber when Austin Theory was in. Michael Cole said, well, there was a higher source in WWE that believed Theory would be a champion. Just notice little things like that throughout the course of the night. But with that being said, Brandon, what was the opening match of the
Well,
card?
it is no pre-show matches, unfortunately. WWE has gone away with the pre-show matches. You just absolutely hate to see it, but this is Elimination Chamber, so why not start off with an Elimination Chamber match? The women's Elimination Chamber to determine who will face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Very long stipulation. It contained Raquel Rodriguez, Nikki Cross, Natalia, Liv Morgan. Shout out to Nikki Cross. I didn't realize the Sean was also in the building at New Japan yesterday. I
I
saw a picture on Twitter. Should
Yeah,
have found him.
yeah, I did. I noticed. I talked to him. He will be in the building for the AEW pay per view, so we're gonna link up. Let's have a Brandon. Let's have a little reunion.
We're gonna have a Bullet Cast meetup. I planned
Yeah,
for Revolution to get there relatively early, so I will be there.
yes, yes. We had a little Bullet Cast reunion last night. Battle in the Valley. Shout out Mex Mendoza, former champ, popping in.
Might have drank one too many. What?
One or two or three or four, me or
But
more.
he's it was a long enough show that he sobered up by the end of it.
Yes, yeah.
Anyways, let's reel it back in. Raquel Rodriguez, not Gonzalez, Nikki Cross, Natalia, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Asuka go in 19 minutes 30 seconds. Liv Morgan, I guess, is now the Iron Woman of WWE. She entered number 2 in the Royal Rumble. She was one of the first 2 in the Elimination Chamber. Um, I thought this match was fine. They a lot of kind of character work, not maybe as over the top stunts that we saw in the men's match, but I thought all women involved had their story. They told it well. Asuka has been built like a monster. She comes in last, and technically Raquel Rodriguez was the big girl, the monster who kind of took a lot to get dethroned, but Asuka comes in and submits Carmella for the win. So we will be getting Asuka and Bianca. I enjoyed this match. Philip, what did you think?
I thought it was fun. I think Oscar was the obvious answer. The foregone conclusion that she was going to win the chamber, just like Brandon knew the foregone conclusion would be that he would retain the title.
Of course. I
Yeah,
mean, I've been on a heater recently. That's why I'm still the
three in a
champion.
row. Is it going to be four?
Well, we got a big hump ahead of us with AEW. We all know I can't win the AEW shows, but it's a shorter card, only 5 or 6 matches possibly. Maybe I'll find a way.
Yeah, you did the trifecta. If you win a fourth time,
I mean, I got an AEW show. I mean, I got a WWE show, got an NXT show. I don't think we didn't do a TNA show, or an Impact show. But if I, get the 3 brands we normally talk about, I'm all for it.
Yes.
Give me the Triple Crown.
Asuka winning this. She is the only woman in history to win a Royal Rumble, a Money in the Bank, and an Elimination Chamber. She is in very good company because the only other people to do that feat are Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Randy Orton, and Edge. So hey, that's awesome. That's awesome for her.
Man, Asuka just collecting trophies left and right. Yeah, good for her. I like the repackaging of her. She's not a completely new character than what she was before, but she's a much more serious character, which I quite enjoy. One thing that I don't like about WWE Elimination Chambers, and this was the case in the men's and the women's, is every single time you have to go around to each and every pod and stare down and make a funny face, and it not only drags out the time of the show, but it just seems so contrived and so dumb that they do all that. Like, maybe if there's a individual story involved, like Seth Rollins and Austin Theory, like if they do that, okay, it makes sense, they've been building towards it. But does Natalya really need to stare down Nikki Cross?
Yes, Natalya's the boat, the best of all time. She wants to let you know.
And she is in she is in Canada. Bad things happen to Hearts in Montreal, but
yes,
she did okay.
Yes. What was the time on this?
1930.
Okay,
shorter. Yeah, shorter, significantly shorter than the men's one. But I thought that was good. They didn't overstay their welcome. I get it. The safety of the wrestlers is definitely important, but the Elimination Chamber, I think, has lost a little bit of luster for myself with I mean, not necessarily the padding, but I think definitely the plexiglass, because they use that so much, and it and they try to oversell it about how dangerous and how extreme it is, but it's just like a flimsy piece of plastic just bouncing around, and they make it seem like it's Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon at King of the Ring. Like, it does not compare.
Love the analogy. That's why he's here. This is why this guy is here, man.
Yeah, that's why I keep hanging around.
Come on. Well, they put the padding on there because it hurt Umaga's feet.
Exactly. R.I.P. Gotta watch out for Umaga.
Yes. R.I.P. Yes,
R.I.P. to the bear. No one wrestles barefoot anymore in WWE, do they? Because Rusev was kind of the last one, and then he hurt his ankle and they put on boots.
Yeah.
Riddle does. Riddle, obviously, that's the easy one, but he's on hiatus right now.
He's doing his best Kevin Federline. What's next?
We got the Big E special, Big Meaty Men Bump and Meet, as Bobby Lashley takes on Brock Lesnar. 4 minutes, 45 seconds. I was correct. This match did end in a disqualification.
But you picked the wrong guy.
But I was wrong. It was a Brock Lesnar disqualification, so Bobby Lashley gets the win as he has Brock Lesnar in the Hurt Lock. Brock takes Bobby to Dick Kick City, and he gets the boot. And Brock, as he does when he loses, he has to just destroy everything in his path. So it looks as though we're going to get a Brock and Bobby match at WrestleMania.
Put him in the big blue cage.
Put him in the octagon. Put him in the Lion's Den.
Lions.
Or what's the newfound WWE MMA cage thing?
The fight pit.
The fight pit. I'd rather have the Lion's
Balls
Den.
Count Anywhere? No.
Hell in a Cell.
I think we save Hell in a Cell for.
There's a possible other feud that's having a Hell in a Cell match. But we'll talk about that a little bit later, maybe.
We need the regular cell back. We got to get rid of the red one. Yeah, but hey, it was quick. We said 4:55. Is that what you said?
4:45, and this was the Brock Lesnar special, just spamming finishers back and forth.
The crowd was up. They were up for it.
Crowd was up for it. Bobby making his entrance was definitely he did a babyface entrance, even though the crowds have kind of been on Brock's side the entire time and during this match as well. But I'm getting a little bit tired of the Brock Lesnar special matches of, spamming finishers, get in, get out. It used to be, he'd do just suplexes all day, but now he just does F5s all day. And I
Changing
mean,
it up, brother.
yeah, credit to Brock, getting
Yeah,
paid millions of dollars to work like 5-minute matches. So
I want to see them do something different because they were both standout amateur wrestlers. Can they? Before we get the finisher spams, can we get a little chain wrestling between the two? Can we do that?
just, we don't want to
A
knock
little
the
bit.
Brock, the original OG Brock Lesnar Goldberg match was a catastrophe, but could we get some, bull locking horns and just going back and forth and,
We get some
just test
chain
his strengths and
wrestling.
stuff?
I mean, because what that one they had at the was it the Royal Rumble? They did some suplexes where they were landing high on the shoulders and on the neck. Maybe they'll maybe they'll do a little bit of that. I don't know.
We did get the seemingly a red herring on SmackDown where Bray Wyatt says whoever's the winner needs to run. No,
Yeah,
no Bray Wyatt whatsoever. Was that an audible? Was that actually going to happen? But they saw the crowd and people on the internet were not liking that, or what? I don't know what to make of that because it seemed very random, and then you just didn't do anything with it.
well, they were supposed to. Weren't Bray and Brock supposed to do something at 32? But then that didn't go down, and what you or no, that wasn't it. They teased something in one of the Royal Rumbles, and then it just never happened. Yeah,
I
that's
just
what
don't
happened.
know how Brock and Bray coexist because it's either Brock has to no sell the Bray stuff, but then that
Maybe, man,
affects Bray, or
I
he
don't.
has to sell
I
it and then it affects
do
Brock.
something to the effect to where like it's some really spooky shit that might even get the beast. I don't know. I don't know. But then
I
again,
almost kind of want to see it just to see how bad it possibly is, but I just don't think putting Bobby and Bray. There's a lot of B's going on right now. In a feud is a good idea, but I think it's a little bit better than Brock. But I mean, especially like in this current incarnation of Brock, where he's just so happy-go-lucky and jovial, I could see him just hamming it to the nth degree of kooky and silly.
but if it has to be something to really scare the shit out of you, who would sell it better, Brock or Bobby?
I I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
neither one of their acting is fantastic. It
Are you
means
kidding me?
more. It means more if Brock sells it the right way, but I think Bobby. I probably would put my money on Bobby selling it better overall.
Brock can sell. Oh, no, don't. I mean, do you not remember the
Hey,
Brock party with the boombox?
I keep saying how much Brock Lesnar is so underrated because everyone's gonna everyone sees these matches and everything else is like, oh, all he does is suplexes and does finishers. But if Brock Lesnar really wants to do it, and if you look at his early stuff, Brock Lesnar is honestly, technically, or however you want to say it, is in the running for the best professional wrestler of all time, like athletically speaking.
Brock is great, man. I love Brock. Oh, what's next?
We get the mixed tag match. Everybody's been waiting for the Grit couple, even though that's like an official name, but it hasn't really taken off, and it's still a callback to Miz and Maurice. Anyways, but Edge
Yeah,
and Beth Phoenix taking on the Judgment Day, which is Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley with Dominic Mysterio.
Got some heat.
Dominic getting a lot of heat, and it was not on Fox, so we didn't have the awkward trying to pause it and mute the crowd. We got the whole "fuck you, Dominic," a lot of "fuck you" chants during the entire show.
Yes.
And yes, and it's, I also like, well, I guess we can talk about it in the main event, but I do kind of like the French accent in the crowd chants. But Edge and Beth Phoenix get the win at 13:50. Rhea almost decapitates Beth again, but she gets out of it, and when she hits the glam slam on
Yes.
Dominic again.
No, she
So
hit the glam slam on Rhea
on Rhea. So yeah,
on the outside. Yeah.
protecting Rhea. She doesn't get the finish or doesn't get the pinfall loss, but she still loses. Edge spears. Finn gets the win. We also hit the
Shatter
the
machine.
shatter machine. So shout out FTR.
And they called it
Obviously,
that. That was dope.
they got the connection because they helped train Edge to get back in 2020, living out there in Asheville, North Carolina, I believe. So shout out to them. Match was fine. Crowd was over. Obviously, Canadian with Edge, they're gonna like them, and the heat with Dominic was great. I just hope this is the end of the feud. I know rumors are speculating that's gonna be Edge and Finn in a Hell in a Cell, and like I guess, but I am so done with Edge and the Judgment Day right now because this dates back all the way to what, like June or July, if you want to go with like the original Judgment Day or
The
whenever they broke
original
up. I don't know. It's gone
May.
back
No,
way too
May.
far.
May. It's been almost a year-long storyline. Yeah. Well, hey, I thought of Edge pulling out a tope suicida just doing all these crazy things at 49 years of age. I love to see it. Looks great. The crowd loves him. It's been about 17 years since he wrestled in Montreal. Thought that was fun. Dom running all the way back to the Gorilla, but then coming back out to get even more heat. He kind of started doing the little Eddie taunt with his hands in the air. I'm like, all this makes sense, and I love it. It was fantastic. Love the Shatter Machine reference, so that I really popped for that.
Yeah, I mean, 13 minutes, 50 seconds. It's a fine length. I thought if you told me ahead of time they were going to go that length, they might have overstayed the welcome. But credit to the crowd. The crowd, I think, was hot throughout, so they didn't die for anything. Then moving on. Well, before we had the penultimate match, we had the first official WWE Goes Hollywood trailer. We got Seth Rollins doing the new Joker, dancing on the steps, and we get the laugh, and he's does the whole 9 yards, and then we get Becky Lynch doing the Batman impersonation. I loved this. I know, I'm a hater on Seth Rollins, I'll admit it, but I did like the Seth Rollins Joker part.
Yeah.
It did kind of fall apart for me with the Becky Lynch Batman bit, so it was fine. Like, I know there's a lot in the pipeline that did some previews for him, but it was okay.
I wasn't really paying attention to my screen, and then I looked. I'm like, what is this music? I look, and I'm like, I get what they're doing here. That's funny. And they went to the man cave because she's the man. I don't know why I chuckled at this, but when Becky was like, "What's with the face paint?" He was like, "Oh, it's exfoliating." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" Oh, my humor has different varies. That's nice.
I like humor that's funny, Philip. Speaking of Seth Rollins, he was in the men's Elimination Chamber match for the United States title. Yes. Austin Theory defended against Bronson Reed, Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano, Montez Ford, and Mr. Seth Rollins. This one goes 31 minutes, 30 seconds long, but not the longest match of the night.
I do want to say this. I like how they acknowledged that Johnny and Seth have history from the Indies. Michael Cole said this is the first time in WWE that Johnny and Seth have met like that.
Where have they met? Because I know Johnny's more of an Evolved guy. Seth was obviously an ROH guy.
Corey Graves said that he worked a lot of shows with them in Cleveland. He said that on commentary. So
okay, yeah, makes sense. Seth, an Iowa guy, and Johnny, a Cleveland guy in the Midwest. Anyways, we get I don't know how you want to do it, but Austin Theory does get the win. He does retain after Montez, who might be the story of the match. He comes out last to House of Fire. He does all the spots, does I don't know what you want to call it, from the top of the chamber, falls down into a bunch of people that just happens to be standing there. You talked about it. I forget if you picked Montez or not, but a lot of people possibly thinking he was a dark horse to win. I didn't see it just because of what they put into him beforehand, but they put some stuff into him in this match.
Yes, I talked about it on the Black Power ranking that aired yesterday. Please go check that out. Montez was on it. One of the only two people on it. And I said how we kind of expected him to have like an all-star showing in the Royal Rumble, and he didn't get that. This was that. This was the showing that he was supposed to get, or we thought he would have had.
I thought this was a great performance by him. The one thing I will say, he kind of hammed it up a little too much. He did the DX suck it. He did a rock bottom, and he teased up people's elbow. Like I get it, but kind of be original. Like, are we really gonna? I was almost thinking he was gonna pull out a stunner during the match or something like that. So maybe kind of reel it in with some of those things. But I mean, his energy, his charisma, all the moves he was doing, besides the cage one that I did not like because it was so contrived. But I have always thought Montez could do it if they get put the machine behind him. And I don't know what this means from going into WrestleMania. No real dissension of the Street Profits. You don't have to break them up if you don't want to. So hopefully, because as I said, didn't show anything before this, but now you could spotlight this as the jumping off point for Montez.
Yes, as there's a siren outside of my window. Can you hear that?
I cannot hear it, but apparently there were sirens outside my house last night because apparently there was a fire that happened down the street. T's and P's. I saw the house and it looking good. So.
Oh man,
I know
that was that after we got back?
It was like 3:00 in the morning. I didn't know it, but shout out Dominic Rebels and Chair Shot sent me a photo of I don't know what the hell, some app that will show fire department or stuff, and it said like 3:00 in the morning there was a call by my house. So I stayed up to watch the main event of this match, but I was not up at that late of night. The other big storyline of this match was Montez gets eliminated with the curb stomp on the outside on that padding, but it was so devastating that he was out cold. He has to get helped out, and they left the door open. Logan Paul comes out, and he attacks Seth Rollins with a buckshot lariat, better than our best friend CM Punk, I will say. And
I won't say all that. I will say Logan Paul is the best buckshot lariat in the business. Hangman, I'm sorry. I love you, brother. But Logan Paul has the best buckshot lariat in the business. I watched the press conference. Triple H said Logan Paul might have just been born to do this. Is this true? Can we say that? Or will his potential outing with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, will that be the true coming of the guard for him? I know he went to war with our tribal chief, but being in there with a guy like Seth Rollins, will that be his true tell?
I guess. I mean, you see with it with his brother Jake in boxing, and people will scoff because maybe he's not fighting the top tier of boxing competition, but athletically he's hanging in there with and doing fantastic stuff. And Logan, the same with boxing and some other athletic things and wrestling. It just kind of comes natural to him, and it just shows how athletic he is. And it's almost kind of like the Kurt Angle or Brock Lesnar. I know people might scoff at comparing a YouTuber to two of the greatest amateur wrestlers of all time, and I guess in terms of US, because shout out Russia. But the prospect of Seth and a Logan Paul match does intrigue me. I know it might be a little flippy floppy for some. We're finally going to get it officially. Well, not officially, but they've been teasing it forever. Seth has been very hard on Logan. I think that's the route they're going to go. Maybe more of a shoot style type feud of, I don't like you because you're taking, opportunities and you're a celebrity just kind of gleaming off for clout. And I think either Corey or Michael Cole kind of alluded to that after the fact.
Yes. Beautiful curb stomp by Logan Paul.
He just takes everyone's finishers and does them better.
This might be it. But do I want Logan Paul to win? Is that what I'm saying?
I don't know.
After my interaction with Punk, I don't know if I feel Seth Rollins anymore. I don't know. I'm back. I'm defending Punk. Like never.
He didn't seem like a cancer to us.
Yeah, no, he's actually seemed like a cure, an antidote, if you will. But let's talk about the main event.
The reason everybody wanted to watch this show, we were in San Jose, and we had people on their phones watching this match as it was happening. I tried to close my eyes and think by the grace of God, I was able to avoid spoilers.
Yeah.
Shout out Mex Mendoza. He was trying to talk to me about it. I told him to shut the fuck up.
Yes.
I couldn't. He said something about Sami Zayn, and I thought he said, what do you think of them putting the title on Sami Zayn? I was like, oh my God.
Dude,
don't shut up. But luckily, I was able to avoid everything, and I didn't get anything spoiled.
We're talking about cancers. Carlos, don't be a cancer. The dude watching in front of us, definitely a cancer. So when I posted one of the clips from the show, I saw a graphic that looked like Sami Zayn holding the titles, and I'm like, oh my God, it's been spoiled for me. And so I was watching this in the back of my mind thinking, oh my God, it's over. I wasn't even going to do this podcast today if Roman had lost. But he didn't. The tribal chief, the man who was a cancer to Montreal, is still the champion. Hey, look, if Sammy won, I would have called this the second Montreal screw job. Montreal screw job part 2. But it didn't happen.
Did not happen. 32-20, the official time, according to Wikipedia. Roman Reigns gets the win. Just a lot of milking the crowd, milking the energy. Sammy gets his old NXT, his I guess babyface theme song back.
The Saw theme is back. Yes.
A lot of screen time for Mrs. Sami Zayn and the Chitlins.
Didn't even know he was married. That's fantastic. Didn't know.
Gotta keep some kayfabe until the biggest match of your life. I really enjoyed this.
I'm sorry, but she played her part excellently.
I thought she did well. And even the kids, I think sometimes I was kind of looking at the kids and they were laughing and having a good time when Sammy was winning. And then when Roman would come over them, they weren't, crying or going over the top with it, but whether they're playing their part or legitimately kind of worried, they did great too.
Yeah. I do want to say that, I said it already, but Roman, he cuts great promos. We all know that, but his really his best stuff is like in the matches and the stuff where he's not holding a microphone and the camera really catches it. Like him just talking to Sammy's wife, like, I tried to help him. I did this to help you to provide for your family too. Just stuff like that, beautiful. And when Sammy was kicking out, man, and Roman's just sitting there, like when Roman beat Logan, I was like, okay, Roman had a look on his face like Logan came the closest of anybody. Sami Zayn is now taking that spot. Roman looked like, what else do I have to do? Like, I've done everything I can. It's like if a quarterback throws a Hail Mary and his guy gets intercepted, you know? It's like the I can't believe this is going on. Like, what the hell do I gotta do to win? It was one of those moments. And Roman played his part excellently. Paul Heyman was great. Sammy just true baby face like never before. Um Man, this was special. Very seldom in this business do you have moments like this, and this is one we will remember for a very long time. Like Sami Zayn in the said in the press conference, it's very hard to do something truly memorable in this business.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give it to Sami Zayn. I don't know where you would rank him in terms of like improbable WWE main eventers, but you kind of can compare him to CM Punk and Bryan Danielson, Dana Bryan. But those two guys, you could kind of see it. Danielson, obviously the great technician. CM Punk, great wrestler with one of the best promo skills of his generation of all time. Sami Zayn was a comedy act, a mid card or lower card. He had his he had his moments on ROH, stuff like that as El Generico, and coming out of Montreal, but just it showed. And obviously the stuff he did in WWE wasn't the best in the world, but he just kept fighting, shows how talented he is. And if you would have asked me this a year ago or a couple years ago when he was just kind of run of the mill mid carder, I wouldn't have thought it was going to happen. Shout out Sami Zayn. It just shows. I know I've been singing his praises for a long, long time, but it just shows how talented and how hard of a worker he is. Because anybody else, honestly, they could have just taken that WWE paycheck and just kind of been the mid card comedy guy or whatever Vince wanted him to do. But he has worked his way up, and he definitely has earned it.
Absolutely. What were your thoughts about the storytelling in the match? And we got to talk about Jimmy Uso showing up. Basically trying to guarantee Roman the title. Sammy kicked out. Jay showing up, and that was awesome. And just a little callback, with Jay having the chair, callback to when Sammy turned on Roman, and when Seth did it with the Shield. And Roman's like, "Oh, what? It's him or me? It's him or me." Just shoved him in the face. And then Sammy going for the spear and hitting Jay. What did you think about all that?
So the first 2/3 of the match I thought was phenomenal. Just the work. It was a straightforward Sami Zayn Roman Reigns match. As you said, Roman talking all the shit. Kind of went back to those pandemic era Roman matches.
He called him a piece of shit.
And then once we started getting to the ref bumps and kind of the Uso stuff at the end, that's when the match maybe not fell apart for me, but I felt as though it was a little bit too overbooked and a little bit convoluted. I think you could have just told a straightforward story of either Roman beating Sammy straight up or Sammy getting screwed over. I think they kind of put too many ingredients in the match to kind of just go all over the place with Jimmy coming in, and then we get another ref bump, and then Jay comes in, and then Jay doesn't do anything. But then why did Jay show up after the second ref bump and not the first ref bump? And then he goes all the way to Montreal, looks conflicted, doesn't do anything, and then he gets hit accidentally by Sammy, and then we never see him again. And then Roman gets the win at the end of the day. So I thought the ending for me, they were in a very difficult situation if they were always dead set on Roman Roman winning. But I thought they could have done a little bit better. The ending I thought was a little too convoluted for me.
I mean,
they did,
move.
It's a good match, moving forward, because you can tell the Jay storyline, and it sets up presumably the tag match. But I thought just in a vacuum of how it laid out, I thought it was just so much stuff going on. And then like even the referee coming down like 5 seconds after Jimmy just attacks Sami Zayn and kills him. Like, don't you think the referee would have seen that? Why is he counting the 3 count right there? Like, that's more of like a little minute thing, but there's just all these little things kind of adding up.
Shout out to Bao Nguyen, Hayward native, taking that beautiful Superman punch from our tribal chief. I just want to throw that out there. Um, Look, man, it is what it is. Roman wins. The crowd was actually deflated after that, and then Kevin Owens makes his return, and yeah, they get the best of Roman and stunners and everything galore.
They tried their hardest to send the crowd home happy. The crowd, it wasn't what they wanted, but they got the two hometown boys coming out laying the bloodline out. We even got a very rare Paul Heyman bump, and that just kind of shows you how much they put into that post match to get the crowd back on their side, so it doesn't turn into a riot. But overall, I know I was very picky on the ending of the match. I thought overall it was a good match. It was a spectacle. Like, say what you will about WWE, like this match could almost only happen with them right now. Like maybe AEW can get there, but WWE, where they are in the industry, like culminating in a match like this, a story like this, we had high expectations, and I think the moment and the atmosphere definitely met those expectations.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, what are we grading Elimination Chamber 2023?
I mean, I feel like I'm always like in this range of like a B to an A minus. Finishes were kind of meh for me. I think I'm going to give it a B plus. It was a good show. Obviously, nothing was like terrible. Nothing was bad on this show. So I'll give it a solid B plus, like a 89%.
Right on, right on, right on. Uh, yeah, I think I'm in the same boat.
We
Yeah,
need a percentage. We need to know the exact, because percentages are going to add up at the end of the year.
I'd
They're
say
not,
same
but
boat, 89,
okay.
89.9
Ooh,
FM.
even stronger than me.
Oh, All right. Thank you guys. I hope you've enjoyed all the content we've released over these past few days. Battle in the Valley recap is going up Tuesday, which is tomorrow.
Check
Yeah.
out the YouTube videos. We got a Mercedes Monet winning the title, doing big numbies right now. Shout out to all the folks out there.
Shout out to the 15,000 plus, or what's at the time of this recording. Let's go back and see. Let's see how the numbies are. Let's see how the numbers are. Dun 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 dun. 21,000 as of right now.
Less than 24 hours. You'll love to see it.
14 hours ago, yeah. A couple of negative comments out here, but that
Not about us, but about Mercedes. But
yeah, that's just how people are.
that's
Uh,
the internet for you.
yeah. Well, let's see. Someone says she will always be Sasha Banks to me. Uh, Someone said so weird to see her wrestle in a different crowd.
Oh, we didn't talk about this on the recap, but I didn't. You put it up on the Instagram, I believe. I didn't catch on, but it was a Hana Kimura tribute with her outfit that was very nice, very touching.
Yes, yes, yes. Very touching indeed. Yeah, well, Battle in the Valley, great show. We're gonna be talking about it for a long time. If you want to hear our true in-depth thoughts, go listen to the recap tomorrow. Thank you guys so much. BC on Thursday. Yeah, that's it. We out.